The United Church of Christ, particularly through our Public Policy Office in Washington, is active with other ecumenical and some interfaith partners in trying to shape a public policy agenda around a variety of issues. One is poverty. How do we address poverty here in this country and globally? A second is around the environment. How do we address issues like global warming far more aggressively than we have in the past? A third issue is immigration. How do we in the United States welcome people from other parts of the world? And in particular, how do we address the real problem of hostility to migrants that is so rampant in this country and that is expressed in a very visual way by the building of a wall across our southern border right now? How do we create a much more reasonable and sensitive and humane policy for welcoming people from other countries who are coming here, partly, in many cases, out of the desperation of their situation in other parts of the world, desperate economic realities that we are a part of and complicit in. So immigration's another issue. The healthcare crisis here. We clearly are at a point when we can't sustain our current healthcare system, when 40 or 50 million members of our society don't have healthcare coverage and therefore don't have adequate access to good healthcare. And this will only get worse unless we radically alter our system. So we're active in efforts, coalitions working on with the administration on developing new policies and new ways of paying for health care in this country. So there's a wide range of things being discussed. The one area that has not been a high-profile conversation that I think needs to be is what is the meaning of our increased presence in Afghanistan mean? And so I'm hopeful that over the next months, the churches and the United Church of Christ as one of the churches can begin to encourage a much broader public debate and public discussion over how we engage in protecting vulnerable people, in dealing with the reality of terrorism in the world, but in creating security without simply the reliance on larger and larger military presence and activity. The final area, of course, is important for all of us, and that's peace in Israel-Palestine. And we're involved in a number of ecumenical and interfaith coalitions that are pressing the Obama administration to be urgent, to be active, and to be very present in moving toward negotiations that would lead to a two-state solution in Israel and Palestine. It's very seductive when you have an administration that, unlike the last administration, welcomes you, asks your opinion, seeks your judgment, and particularly administration where the president has been a part of your own church. It's very seductive to avoid the hard things and to say only the easy things. But Scripture calls us to be prophets, and so we need to offer the prophetic word and to challenge the administration and to hold them accountable to the values that we feel are shaped by our understanding of Scripture, our theological understandings, and our moral discernment. And so we will be pushing, even as we'll be encouraging at the same time.